All right, we'll call the October 15th meeting of the Kingston Springs Board of Commissioners to order. Could everyone please rise and face the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You're just a little bit behind us, Martha Broke. You almost threw me off on the pledge there. That's all right. All right, John, could you call the roll?
Josh Adderley.
Here.
Tony Gross.
Here.
Mike Hargis. Here. Jeff Lorenz. Here. Lynn Rimmer.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. Do we have a motion to approve the September 17th public hearing meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Josh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, we've got the, or you've all had a chance to read through the September 17th, 2020 City Commission meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve them?
I make a motion we approve them.
Oh, second?
Second.
Glenn? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, we have the agenda, except we're going to add a few items to the agenda. Item I, 13I, is going to be a motion to allow staff to use original building permit fee schedule when renewing permits issued prior to the June 2020 approval of new fee schedule. So it'll be explained later. And then 13J is a motion to appoint Keith Sherrill and Lauren Hill to the Kingston Springs Board of Zoning Appeals. The term will be from November 2020 to November 2023.
All right, Keith.
So do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Announcements from commissioners. Jeff, what you got? Nothing. Glenn?
I voted today. It was easy, fantastic, safe. It was great.
Pretty good?
The National Night Out, that was fantastic. I missed it last year, but this year's, everyone ranted and raved about it. I wish to thank all the staff that participated to make that happen. And looking forward to the Harvest Festival Saturday. And I want to thank Todd Verhoeven and Hunt's Brother Pizza for contributing to us the National Night Out. That was great.
Josh?
Yes, and we can move this to legal. John and I have been talking a little bit about Halloween's coming up and the city stance versus county stance versus CDC stance, and
yeah,
it's time to address something tonight, whether that's just that we're deferring to CDC or county or something, so we can move this to whatever you think.
I think it'd be good to discuss in legal. We've often had Halloween's one of those holidays we've had things happen,
right?
And because it's not really an official holiday, there's not a whole lot of role for the town to do anything with it, but we can discuss
I figured we move it to legal.
We could do, so. Mike?
I don't have any announcements.
All right, then we can move to community input and concerns. If you'd like to address the commission, just step up to the podium, state your name and address, and you've got our ears.
Yes.
I'm up.
You're up.
That was fast. Thank you. My name is Bill Lethwich. I'm a resident of Kingston Springs for 28 years. I assume that many of you already know the issue that I wanted to bring up before the commission. I'm confident that you all are well aware of it, that somebody in this group is already addressing it. I just wanted to make sure that I knew who it was and offer my assistance. You all are aware that just recently McCrory Lane Partners got a permit issued for the third time to refill the rock quarry on McCrory Lane, dewater it first, and to refill it. The change in this third approach to the rock quarry project, the difference in this permit, if you already know, is that this time it's proposed to be filled with clean dirt. And this is dirt and debris that's going to be monitored, evaluated, and apparently it has been approved by several agencies with the state. So it's moving forward. The permit has been issued, which is fine. I think what I want to find out from this group is it's a Davidson County project, obviously, but it directly impacts the Harpeth River, which of course is our drinking water. So who on this commission or what is the next step that is either being taken or that is up for discussion moving forward to either monitor this process or try to have this process brought back up in front of a higher state representative possibly and get it denied. So I'm here to ask the question: is there anybody in this group that is monitoring or will be the point person for this project?
Well, theoretically, the way this works is you address the commission and there is no discussion, but we can maybe throw a little bit, and maybe we could discuss this some in legal too when we get to Martha Brooks.
Yeah, I'm not clear on the process. I'm just here to kind of...
That's absolutely fine.
Good.
There's very limited amounts of things we can do, and Martha Brooks can probably get some more into this in legal. With the fuel depot, for instance, we did make a proclamation declaring that we were against the construction of the fuel depot, which is a similar type project where it has an effect on the drinking water for the community. So that's the kind of thing that we could look into doing, but that's kind of where we are on that sort of thing.
Okay.
We don't pull our drinking water.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's true. We do not pull our drinking water. Drinking water is pulled from Turnbull Creek, but
Okay.
but still, it's a concern, obviously.
Obviously, and of course, the recreation aspects of the Harpeth River, and I have a tremendous amount of data. Are you all aware of the permit? Has anybody read this, or would they like for me to distribute this? You would like this?
I'd love to see it too.
Good. It's full of information. A lot of it is data from the first attempt that they made, and again, that was a level 4 landfill, which is quite different. That was really going to be contaminated soil going in there. Now it's allegedly clean. My concerns are: is it really going to be monitored? Is it really going to be approved? Obviously, that's up for discussion at a later date. It's also a very large project. It's going to be a lengthy project, so I would assume somebody, would be able to monitor that, and in some regulatory agency make sure that they're following the terms of their permit. So, if you'd like me to leave this with you, Mr. Remick. And if you haven't read it, I encourage you to. It's full of a lot of good information, far above what I could speak on tonight. And then I offer my assistance if there's anything I can do as a local citizen. I'll be more than glad to assist you with that project.
I would love to speak with you after the meeting, if I may.
I'm sorry?
I would love to speak with you after the meeting, if I may.
After this meeting?
Yes.
Absolutely. I'll be available. Thank you so much. Any questions? No? Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, department reports. Do you have anything, John?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a couple of things. I would like to commend Officer T.C. Swaggerty, who celebrates his 25th anniversary with the town of Kingston Springs on October 25th. So, if you see TC, tell him congratulations on that. The other thing I have is we continue to take advantage of the Tennessee CARES grant money. It's COVID-related expenses, money from the state. Town of Kingston Springs was allocated $41,000 as potential expenditures. We've requested $30,500 so far and have been approved for $4,800, and the rest of that money is in review. So we'll try to get all of it. The rest of it is what, John, in review? It's in review, yes. Okay. And then I believe Brandy has one or two things.
A couple of things. We're still not renting the activity center just because we can't guarantee the numbers of people that are in there at a time. So we'll need to decide if we're ready to open that back up.
Okay.
And then also, we need to start making plans for the tractor parade if we're going to do that in December. Just a couple of things that are coming up in the next few months that we probably need to start planning if we are going to try to do them. I just kind of want y'all's thoughts on it.
Yeah. I mean, there are no current state limits on anything anymore, right?
There are no state limits on the amount of people that can gather in one place. However, the last order from the governor did continue to suggest social distancing. So the activity center, for example, even though there's not a limit on the people that can gather, we still have a limit on social distancing, so you look at the square footage, the amount of people that can get in there, spacing 6 to 12 feet apart because you got 2 people, so we would definitely still have to limit the number of people, not because of the requirement, but because of the social distancing.
Okay. Oh, I was about to ask Martha Brooke a question. She just disappeared. There she is.
I'm sorry, another question to pop up in there, so.
What are your thoughts, Martha Brooke, just from a legal perspective on distancing and, for both of these events, really? One's an outdoor event, obviously. I think we can probably swing the tractor parade okay because it's, but with the...
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly like what John said, as far as crowd size and things like that, those are really lapsing at this point. And so the social distancing is really what has been continued to be stressed. The current executive orders that we have in place are set to expire at the end of October. I don't know what the what his decision will be with respect to extending or modifying or just letting them lapse. You could proceed forward with planning of a parade, ensuring that you do your social distancing, and of course that's going to be spectators and all that. You're going to have to figure out how to make sure that appropriate social distancing is conducted by spectators.
There's no way.
But, that just kind of waiting and seeing what they're going to do. If they put, again, a moratorium in effect with parades like they did in May, where we had to, you recall, we had to postpone the graduation parade until after the executive order had expired. So that would kind of be a wait and see approach with respect to that.
Just a thought. I know the tractor parade has been a downtown event, but the homecoming parade on Harkins View Trail is a lot more spaced out. But it kind of defeats the purpose of what the tractor parade is.
Oh, you mean put the tractor parade where the homecoming parade goes?
You just volunteered your neighborhood?
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought, there's no way we're going to get social distancing down
here.
here.
No,
It's not going to happen.
You got the same problem if that's, is that a mandate or
It's
just a suggestion?
Suggestion. But it's a,
So I mean,
it's a good
it's just the
suggestion.
same point that you got about the Halloween deal. How are you going to social distance down here if the businesses are giving away candy and we've got an officer at each end of it to control traffic a little bit, at least so they'll slow down. I know we're going to rope it off and put crosswalks. But I mean, that's not our event, but still.
You're talking about Halloween.
I'm talking about Halloween now, yeah, that's
Yeah.
coming right up.
Yeah.
That's here before the tractor pull parade.
Well, do you want?
And then we've got the event center too, the issue of the event center, like what do we do? Do we put just figure out by square feet how many people we can
Well, the problem-
allow in there? Or
The problem
what?
is you can't police it. I mean, we're not gonna
Yeah.
have the police go down there and make sure they only have 15 people in there.
Yeah.
How do you, you can't guarantee it, and that's kind of where we've been holding off, because we guarantee that somebody's not gonna take advantage of that, and then get, I don't know, maybe it's up to Martha Brooke, I don't know what our ramification is if somebody doesn't disobey what we've
I
asked them to do.
don't know that there's much of a ramification under the,
Yeah,
So,
if you find that people are disobeying, really, the penalty would be to shut it down for everybody, because of, the acts of some people who don't want to follow the rules. All you could do is, again, figure out what the maximum number would be and say, it's limited to this capacity. I guess you could spot check, because obviously, as Brandy says, you don't have the manpower to be down there policing it all the time. You could spot check to see, but, the enforcement of it is going to be your hard part.
Well,
And again,
your
it
rule
is
says-
remember that the social distancing is a suggestion and a preference
Right. I was gonna say that.
by the governor. It's just when you've got the government, i.e. the city, being the one, hosting the event or allowing the event to take place on their property, they want to be the ones following the guidelines that the governor suggests.
Well, I think the guidelines say 6 feet or wear a mask if you can't be 6 feet. I
Suggestion.
believe that's the suggestion, right? That's the governor's suggestion. It's not both.
Oh.
I
You see what I'm saying? It's not wear a mask and be 6 feet.
Review that executive order, but I think the preference is certainly if you're inside, they want you to social distance and preferably wear a mask at the same time, but I'll have to go back and review to double check how, if
Okay.
it's or and.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandy, how much do we rent during November, December, January?
Our biggest rental time, of course, is in the summer, birthday parties, things like that. We'll have, I think we have a couple on the books already for December that probably booked a year ago, where they have Christmas dinners or whatever.
I'm just talking about in the past. The reason I ask,
During the busy season in the summer when people are having parties and get-togethers, we usually look at 2 or 3 days a week.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, if we're renting it once or twice a month between November and February,
Just push it
why
to spring.
why open it?
Yeah, maybe if it's just not a big deal, why don't we just push it to spring and
Right.
It's up to y'all.
I just don't.
then that keeps us
we are going to
covered.
have to keep it really sanitized if we rent it. It's going to
Yeah.
incur some stuff
I
there.
want people to be able to use it, but can't police it.
I think that might be a good idea though. Why don't we just, with basically what we've done with everything, let's just hope and pray that everything's better in spring. So,
Okay.
So we'll keep it closed through the end of the year and see what January
Address it in
looks like.
see what January looks like.
Okay.
The tractor parade is the, well,
I don't know. They did the National Night Out, which was,
a lot more room.
Yeah, it's a little more room.
Well, I will say the tractor parade was started with the business owners downtown.
That's what I'm saying. That's the benefit. is
Moving it
down
would
here.
not
Yeah.
make them happy.
Absolutely. That kind of defeats the purpose having it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Running it from downtown to Kingston Springs Elementary, and line the way, or
Not much.
how do you expand out?
Oh, expand the route.
You could expand it down to the park or something and, have a circle up down there and, you can spread out quite a bit down there, through here, down there.
Yeah.
I-
It is outdoor, which is an advantage. So.
Expanding it is probably.
I think it's important to have something, and if you
Can we
spread it out.
look at that, how we can stretch it out? It's an outdoor event too. We can encourage mask wearing. It'll be cold. People might want to wear a scarf around their face anyway.
Okay, very good.
So, Halloween first.
Oh, and then of course Halloween is first. And
I
then-
just, for me,
Well,
I just
we
have
are
a
legal.
hard time. Martha already explained. I just have a hard time the city endorsing. I know Jeremy, we usually have more patrol on Halloween, so we do things on Halloween, right?
Yes.
But I just have a hard time of us endorsing children going home to home to home. That's tough. I just have a hard time with us not doing anything, not saying anything.
Well, and Martha Brooke, can you jump in here? Because we've had obviously there's been issues where there's been bad weather or there's been it's just not a night of the week, and people are like, "Are you guys?" You get the phone calls to City Hall. Are you guys going to cancel Halloween? And it's like, well, no, we can't cancel Halloween. It's really not. I've gotten the personal emails and phone calls. Tony, are you going to cancel Halloween?
Well, there's no way we can cancel it
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
And I think if
so-
we did try to cancel it, we'd have a coup on our hands. But I think some sort of suggestion or,
Yeah.
It's Halloween, wear a mask.
yeah.
You could pass a resolution indicating what the board's thoughts on it are. If your inclination was to discourage people from, going door to door like traditional, or encourage people to think of alternate ways of celebrating amongst their own family, or in their own backyard, something along those lines. You can certainly do that.
Yeah.
But as you say, Mayor, this is not a governmental holiday. It's one that's celebrated within the community. You could just strongly encourage that if it is going to be celebrated or recognized amongst people, that they do so carefully or consider not participating. I think that's about all you can do.
if they're in the subdivisions, they're gonna be outdoors, and they're gonna be separated to some degree. I mean, they're gonna be in family groups, so I don't see the neighborhood one as being that big a deal, but maybe that's just me. I think the one that I'm concerned about is the one where the downtown businesses have historically given away candy, and so a lot of parents come down here in tight quarters, and the businesses love doing it. My church is going to do it. They're planning to do it. They're not even having services, so, you know, but we're going to give away Halloween candy unless we say something about it, and it's not our event. So, I mean, my concerns would be, what's the traffic patterns? We can't close the streets. It goes on all evening. You know, so we obviously need some police presence, and we need some kind of guidance to where the kids can walk and where they can't, you know, when they're not running out in the street or something.
About
So,
safety.
Of course, the other location that actually, and Martha Brooke can attest to this personally, is her neighborhood
Oh, yes.
is more crowded than down here. I mean, it is just packed.
We have given away the last 5 years between 300 and 400 kids visiting in the last
It's
5
crazy.
years. So, I mean, it's,
That's what
you know, y'all send officers down to direct traffic in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
wow.
And mine is just the transmission of, you know, you got 300 kids going to this house, that's 300 going to one house that has it. You know, even making suggestions of possibly how to lay candy out on a table rather than hand to hand. You know, those sort of suggestions. We're not going to stop Halloween.
yeah. That I mean, you know, I don't know if we could maybe come up with some just recommendations, you know, for how we do it, like how they're going to do it. Of course, we will have the sidewalks closed off so that kids can traverse the sidewalks in safety. I mean, you know, and this kind of goes back to it. I know that there are reasons against closing the street down completely, but at the same time, as if we did do a limited time and close the street down completely, then you would have that space and people could space out through the entire street during that given amount of time too. I don't know. So it's just something to...
You could also explore some options. If you remember back when all this started, when you were declaring states of emergency, Mayor, there is some provision in the code that allows you to quote unquote evacuate areas. You know, to prevent
That's
spread
your
of
signature.
disease.
That's your
or
signature.
there. So you could shut down sidewalks at 8 o'clock, or effectively put a curfew in place. That could be an option. If you wanted to go that route. But your strongest message might be you all passing a resolution saying, please consider either not having a traditional Halloween this year and going door to door, consider skipping it this year, or if you feel the need to do it or to hand out candy, consider following CDC guidelines on doing so.
Yeah. But I guess where I come down to is if we are shutting down the sidewalks and providing traffic direction and having officers out there, that looks like an effective endorsement of Halloween. I think that's what Josh is getting of trick-or-treating. I mean,
Right. I mean,
it's not our event, but we're providing
assistance to an event.
assistance to the
Providing
the
safety.
event, so.
We're encouraging safety.
No, I mean, I guess by the same token, it is the town's responsibility to have safety, so.
Right, even if it's not ours.
And the sidewalks are going to be packed. I think it's quite a good idea to just a period of time from 5:30 to 7, or however it may be.
Close the street.
To close the street.
Just close
people
it and then they can open
eat,
it
have
up.
spacing and.
Which street are we
Are
talking
you
about?
just talking about downtown?
Main Street.
Just downtown, because the businesses are going to have it. They're going to do it.
It will be easier because it is on a Saturday, so you don't have the commuter traffic coming through.
Just devil's advocate, if you do that for an hour and a half, then you are saying, okay, everybody come during this hour and a half rather than spreading it out.
Well,
But it's a lot more room.
whatever time frame we all discuss, 2-hour period or.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the bulk of the kids kind of do come at a certain time,
I think
though,
so.
too. You know,
I think
so.
Come about dusk, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But the problem is, that you got a couple of businesses down there, 2 or 3, that are gonna be selling food. Biggest pizza day, and according to John, in the country is on Halloween.
I had a conversation with the proprietor, and he's actually foreclosing the street down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you sell it out the back door?
I guess so.
But you can still get there. I mean,
Oh, yeah, people are gonna park and walk.
Yeah, but you'd have to change the direction of that one-way street to get in and out of there without getting across this.
Well, that's our issue, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting people in and out. His take was that they actually don't sell that much pizza that day. It is, I guess, in America, a large day for pizza sales, but they just set up and hand out cotton candy or whatever and do their Halloween thing. So
It'll be Saturday
It's a-
night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we can close, our options then are closing Main Street at the stop sign at the top of the hill down to usually Love Street here. So Love Street will be the corridor back around, or we could close at Moore Circle. Options, if we close at the top of the hill stop sign, then the only parking downtown is across from City Hall. That takes away the parking behind the Sky King and filling station and those guys. The other option would be to close the street at Moore Circle, which would allow you to park behind there, but it would kind of cut off the library and the churches from the main event area.
Well, that's within walking distance though, John. I mean, you know, it's not like it's a long way. I mean, I park at the Methodist church to go to the strip because it's closer than walking from the back our parking lot. So,
Is there a preference on?
well, I don't think you need to close that parking lot behind the business.
No.
That's crazy. I mean, that won't work. You'll get blasted for that. So,
Okay.
I wouldn't do that, brother. I'd do something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll.
what do you think, Jeremy?
I concur.
Blocking it between Love Street and Moore Circle would be the best. Then you leave all the parking open and we can still get traffic rerouted.
Okay, we'll make it so.
Does that change, do we
Time frame?
Does that change the amount of officers we would need for the normal patrol and
Mm.
would we have coverage?
Yeah, we'll make it work.
It's a good answer. I like it.
That's right, yeah.
From 5 to 8?
5:30. Let them get home, don't you think?
It's Saturday.
It's
So
Saturday.
That's right, okay. Yeah, so that's good.
Have the businesses posted anything like we're starting at 5:30 or anything like that?
They've been kind of waiting for us to kind of.
I think we got away, yeah.
I mean, dusk is what, 6:30? So I mean,
Yeah, and it's full dark at, you know, at 7, so I don't think you need to run it all the way to 8 o'clock, personally. I mean,
Maybe 5 to 7:30,
yeah,
5:30, 7:30?
5:30, 7:30, yeah.
7:30 now.
a couple of hours, I mean, that's
That's pretty good.
Okay.
I like
That's an
that.
effort, that's an effort from the county to make it safe.
I like that.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good.
Okay, well, legal updates. I guess that actually wasn't legal updates. We were still in department reports, so. That's
Okay,
it.
so, and I think that y'all had some questions that you were wanting to reserve based upon the public comment with respect to McCory Lane. Is that
Well, yeah,
correct?
what is your thought on, you know, I know in the past, you know, we of course issued a proclamation in disapproval of the fuel depot. Because it's a project, even though it does affect us, it's in Davidson County, our ability to act, as we found with the fuel depot, is very limited, so.
Exactly. I think you would be limited to proclamation. I mean, if you think you were going to actually suffer some form of harm, I guess you could look at trying to do a suit to enjoin any kind of activity if you could prove actual harm that the town was going to suffer. But, you know, if you want to go that direction, we can certainly take a look and see what your options are. But just at first blush, I think a proclamation would probably be your best bet.
As the heart of the harbor, we need to protect the harbor. The greatest risk is then the process of emptying that quarry into the harbor. I think that's where the greatest risk is going to be. I think it'd be.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you were saying, Glenn.
Speak up a little bit.
Yes, I think it's important that we make a stance in the protection of the harbor. And the risk right here, right now, would be the process of emptying it, which would take over a year of pumping, and then another 7 years dumping. This is like a 10-year plan. So this is creating all kinds of instability in the harbor. I think it's important that we make a stance.
well, how'd they get a permit?
T-Deck.
T-Deck.
feedback?
We can add that to the November agenda.
Yes.
Thank you.
John, if you'll forward those materials to me, I can draft a resolution to put before the board, and then you all can look at it and tweak it as you want to at the next meeting, if that will work.
Very good, thank you.
All right, is it anything else, Martha Brooke?
I think I think we've covered about everything I was going to talk about anyway. So yes, other than what we've got on board, but with respect to the COVID stuff, that pretty well covers it.
Okay, we'll move on. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move to new business. Item A is a motion to approve on first reading ordinance 20-009, amending ordinance 13-003, updated OSHA safety plan.
Every 7 years, OSHA requires a municipality to have an updated OSHA-approved safety plan. A previous plan down at Kingston Springs was put in place by ordinance in 2013, so this action updates that ordinance and that safety plan. The plan that was in your packet is just like it was in 13. OSHA basically sends you a plan, and you look at it, approve it, and so the template was from OSHA, and we just tweaked it a little bit to fit Kingston Springs.
All right, well, everyone's had a chance to look at, do we have a motion to approve ordinance 20-009?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
John, could you call the roll?
Make sure everything's official. Josh Etherly,
Yes.
Tony Gross,
Yes.
Mike Hargis,
Yes.
Jeff Lorenz,
Yes.
Glenn Murray.
Yes.
The motion passes. Item B is a motion to approve first reading of ordinance 20-010, amending Title III, Chapter 2, Section 3-201 of the Kingston Springs Municipal Code.
Martha Brooke.
Yes, and I want to talk about the next few in tandem if we could.
Sure.
I don't know if you all have my letter in front of you that kind of breaks it down a little bit more. John and I have been working for a while to kind of streamline and clarify the process with respect to enforcement of our codes, our maintenance codes most specifically. We realized there was some conflicting provisions with respect to enforcement. There was just some difficult situations where we've been able to had difficulties in trying to enforce different property maintenance codes. And so we went through the different sections of the code and talked a little bit about what might be some of the options for enforcement. Went through the International Property Maintenance Code that the board adopted a few years ago, looked at some of the provisions they have with respect to notice and appeals process and things like that. And basically what we've done is I've gone through, you'll see the first one, the Title III, Chapter 2, that's our municipal code section in dealing with the municipal court. We also have an administrative hearing officer. If you all remember, that was put into place a few years ago. I looked through those provisions. It did not specifically list that administrative hearing officer could hear property maintenance code violation under the International Property Code, nor did it have on their zoning violations. So we're basically going to be adopting provisions to put that under the purview of the administrative hearing officer. And then we jump to our Title 12, Title 13, Title 17. Again, these are getting more into our building codes and property maintenance codes. And outlining a very specific process for if someone is in violation of the different codes, here's the process with respect to getting notice to them. And we put provisions in there where at the option of the town, we could either go before municipal court or we could go before that administrative hearing officer. Because, some things are going to be better served under municipal court. If we've got somebody that is not taking their trash out like they need to be or have, weeds that are 18 inches high or whatever, that could be easily and quickly taken care of from municipal court. If we've got a violation that's dealing with, more complicated matters like drainage or something like that needs a hearing officer that has a little bit more training in those areas, we would have the option of taking it before the administrative hearing officer. So all of these ordinances that are before you basically are going in and tightening up the notice process, putting provisions in there. For example, there was a provision that required us to only send it by mail. Well, I've included that we can do personal service, or if we can't find the people, we can do it by the newspaper and things like that. Just cleaning all that up and giving the town some flexibility to decide whether to put it in municipal court or to put it in front of the administrative hearing officer.
That's good.
Very good.
Much better.
Oh, and I'm sorry, one other thing, John, you had reminded me, because we are not adopting any budgetary changes or any zoning changes on this, there doesn't have to be a public hearing for it.
Okay, well, then we will move on. Motion, or do we have a motion to approve on first reading ordinance 20-010?
I make the motion we approve ordinance 20-010.
All right, John, could you call the roll?
Josh Heatherly,
Yes.
Tony Gross,
Yes.
Mike Hargis.
Yes.
Jeff Lorenz,
Yes.
Glenn Renner.
Yes.
All right, and then, as explained by Martha Brooke, I guess we can just move through these. Motion to approve on first reading ordinance 20-011.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
John, could you call the roll?
Josh Heatherly,
Yes.
Tony Gross.
Yes.
Mike Hargis.
Yes.
Jeff Lorenz.
Yes.
Glenn Renner.
Yes.
All right. Motion to approve ordinance 20-012.
I make a motion we approve 20-012.
Do we have a second?
Second.
John, could you call the roll?
Josh Heatherly,
Yes.
Tony Gross.
Yes.
Mike Hargis.
Yes.
Jeff Lorenz.
Yes.
Glenn Renner.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, if I might interrupt, I don't believe on motion to approve first reading ordinance 20-010, Commissioner Hargis made the motion, but I don't believe we had a
There wasn't a
second.
second. I'll second.
Oh, on the very first one?
Second.
Josh.
010.
Josh did?
I didn't.
Okay.
No, there was no
Okay.
second.
There was no second on the
Thought
very
you
first
raised
one.
your hand.
There is none.
I was going to, and then we
Okay.
called roll.
So who was the official second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Josh,
Commissioner Hargis.
okay.
Thank you.
We do need to revote on that
Yeah,
if there wasn't a
vote, yeah.
second. Just
Okay.
follow our Robert's rules.
Okay. Josh Heatherly,
Yes.
Tony Gross.
Yes.
Mike Hargis.
Yes.
Jeff Lorenz.
Yes.
Glenn Renner.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Back down to item E is a motion to approve on first reading ordinance 20-013.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Josh Heatherly,
Yes.
Tony Gross.
Yes.
Mike Hargis.
Yes.
Jeff Lorenz.
Yes.
Glenn Renner.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item F is a motion to approve resolution 20-013, authorizing the town to participate in Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program.
Each year, the Public Entity Partners, who is our insurance carrier, offers a property conservation grant tailored to enhance protection of municipal-owned properties. We had allocated money in our budget and recently purchased new collapsible bollards for the parks that will keep people out when we don't want them in there, but allow public utilities, parks vehicles to get in and out. That purchase fits the scope of this grant. The grant's a 50-50 grant. We've already expended the money, but it was about $4,000. This is a 50-50 grant, so there's an opportunity for us to get $2,000 of that back should we be selected for the grant. But part of that process is to have this resolution passed and submitted to them.
Great.
All right. Good job. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 20-013?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, item G is a motion to approve resolution 20-014, adopting Kingston Springs use of force policy.
Do you want to speak to this?
Do you want to speak to it any, or?
Yeah, go ahead, John, you talk.
If you please, Officer, I'm filling the blanks, but the state of Tennessee has requested updated use of force policy for each county and municipality in the state. Chief Ivey has been working with the Tennessee Chief of Police Association along with Sergeant Bond, and they provided, they, as in the Tennessee Chiefs of Police Association, I believe MTAS might have been involved a little bit as well, but they provided the model policy that our local policy is built upon, and so that's what this ordinance is adapted from, and that's what's before you.
Where can we see the policy?
It was in the packet that, or it's not in this packet,
in the
it was
one
in
you got.
the packet that was emailed in
Right.
to you. I took the liberty, that meeting packet was 70 pages long, so I took the liberty of abbreviating it for the meeting here.
Yeah, I read it. I couldn't really figure out what changed.
Yeah, so back in July, Governor Lee met with a lot of stakeholder organizations and associations to address what he called tragic preventable events across the country in regards to use of force by law enforcement. And so he met with some law enforcement agencies, some advocates for human rights, and they all got together, and Governor Lee issued this this checklist basically, and requested that every department within the next 60 days review your policy and make sure you have these certain things included in them if you do not already. The three things that were not in ours that we had to include is no vascular restraints or slang word chokeholds type. That is now considered deadly force. So you cannot use it unless you're justified in using deadly force. Before, officers were trained in a vascular restraint to use on people. Not anymore. The state now considers that deadly force. We had to put a clause in there that officers have a duty to intervene if they see another officer violating the law or policy in regards to use of force. That they're to intervene to stop that officer, and that they can be held, responsible if they don't. And the other one was we had to adopt definitions for various words that are built into, like I said, vascular restraint. We had to adopt a definition of exactly what that is and put that into our use of force policy, along with about 20 other words. Those are the only things that we didn't have in there already.
Okay, so that makes sense. It wasn't changes, it was additions.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't changes. I thought something changed. It was more additions than changes to the policy that we already had.
Well, one big change is the
Well,
vascular
that
restraint.
would be, I guess, a change from
Oh, that would be a
becoming
change.
from
Maybe
becoming lethal force, considered lethal force.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, do we have motion to approve resolution 20-014?
I'll make a motion we approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item H is a motion to reappoint Sam Edwards as the town's administrative hearing officer at a rate of $150 per hour and the cost of continuing education.
The administrative hearing officer has a term of 4 years. Sam Edwards has been the town's administrative hearing officer since 2016, and he would like to continue, and we would like to reappoint him to this position. The rate and expenses that are listed here in this request are the same as he adopted in 2016.
Do we have a motion to reappoint Sam Edwards?
Motion to reappoint Sam Edwards.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. On to surplus items. Police department has it.
I and J.
I and J.
The
The
addition.
new addition.
Oh, gosh, did I forget? Oh, I did. I forgot my additions. That was in there on the whole page here for me. All right, 7:43. These meetings never go this long.
That's my bedtimes.
All right, item I is a motion to allow staff to use original building permit fee schedule when renewing permits issued to June 2020 approval of new fee schedule. And I believe this is because there were some issued, and this is so that they can have the issued before the new rates came in, so this is to make sure that they're charged the previous rate, correct, John?
That's correct, thank you. There are 5 permits that may need to be extended. They were issued before the new rates were adopted in June, and so the staff would like the opportunity, if they are renewed, to renew them at the original rate rather than the new rate.
That makes sense.
So do we have a motion to allow for the original building permit fee schedule in these cases.
I make a motion, we allow for the original police carryovers.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, motion passes. And then item 13J is a motion to appoint Keith Sherrill and Lauren Hill to the Kingston Springs Board of Zoning Appeals. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So
Motion.
Josh,
Oh, they tied.
okay.
So who was one and who was two?
Josh is one.
Josh and Jeff.
Okay, Josh and Jeff, there we go. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, final thing here is surplus. We have a Streamlight USB flashlight charger to discard and a Dell Vostro 1500 laptop to discard. Do we have a motion to surplus these items?
Motion to surplus.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, and then finally we have the reminders. The Harvest Festival will be this Saturday, and on the 20th, and what time's the Harvest Festival start?
10 to 2.
10 to 2, that's right. 10 to 2, and then there's a town hall to discuss the Ingram property that will happen in the events center down in Burns Park on the 20th, and I believe that's at 7, or no, 5:30, right? No, or 6:30. 6:30.
You've confused me.
I think
Yeah.
it's 6:30.
20th, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
20th. Yeah, I have
7.
7.
No, okay, so we'll get there at 6:30 and make sure you get a good seat.
Okay. Come early.
Properly social distance.
That's right. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.